It was the third week of July. I was standing in my kitchen in front of an open fridge, and my wife said 6 words that stopped me cold. "You've been kind of a jerk this week." She wasn't wrong. I'd been snapping at everything: the traffic, the weather, the way the Wi-Fi took 3 extra seconds to connect. A colleague asked me a reasonable question, and I almost bit his head off. I felt like a pot of water that was always 1 degree away from boiling over. And I couldn't figure out why. I was sleeping enough, I was eating well, nothing had changed in my life, but something had changed, something I couldn't see. I tried the usual fixes. I drank more water. I went for evening walks. I told myself to calm down, to breathe, to count to 10. None of it worked. Because here's the thing, the problem wasn't in my head. It wasn't in my schedule. It wasn't a lack of self-control. The problem was in my body, in a place and a system I'd never been taught to think about. Let me step back and ask you something. Have you ever had one of those days or weeks where you just felt off? Not sick exactly, just not right. Irritable for no reason, exhausted even though you slept, restless even though nothing stressful is happening, and you can't figure out why. You check your diet, you check your caffeine intake, you check your sleep, everything looks fine. But something is wrong. That was me. And today I want to share something that completely reorganized my understanding of my own body, my moods, and even the calendar hanging on my wall. Hey friends, this is Eastern Inner. I'm Ollie, just me talking to you. So here's the idea that changed everything. It wasn't the heat, it wasn't the traffic, it wasn't the Wi-Fi. It was something I'd never thought about before. My body was living in a completely different season than the one on the calendar. I was walking around in July, but inside something else was happening, something I'd never been taught to notice. Let me explain what I mean. And I promise by the end of this, you're going to look at your moods and maybe even your calendar very differently. In traditional Chinese medicine, the human body doesn't follow the Gregorian calendar. It follows something much older, an internal clock that's been running for thousands and thousands of years, synced to the sun, the soil, the sky, the length of the day, the angle of the light. And here's the first thing that surprised me. In TCM, the year isn't divided into 4 seasons. It's divided into 5. Spring, summer, late summer, autumn, winter. I know what you're thinking. Late summer. What in the world is late summer? Late summer is this hidden secret 5th season. And it's the key to understanding why you sometimes feel completely out of sync with the world around you. It's a transitional period, about 18 days at the end of summer, right before autumn really kicks in. The air is thick and humid, the ground is warm. Everything is ripening, heavy with fruit. It smells like earth and growth. And every one of these 5 seasons is paired with an element and a pair of organ systems. This is not vague poetry. This is a clinical observation that's been tested and refined over more than 2,000 years. Let me walk you through the map, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Spring belongs to the wood element. Think of new growth pushing up through soil. Green, determined, full of life. This season governs your liver and gallbladder. It's the energy of planning, of vision, of starting things. Summer belongs to fire. Heat, expansion, brightness, the sun at its peak. It governs your heart and small intestine. It's the energy of joy, connection, outward expression. Late summer belongs to earth, stability, nourishment, the ground beneath your feet. It governs your spleen and stomach and the bedrock of your entire digestive system. This is the energy of groundedness, of being at home in your own body. Autumn belongs to metal, sharpness, clarity, precision, the crispness of the first cold morning. It governs your lungs and large intestine. It's the energy of discernment and letting go. Winter belongs to water, depth, stillness, storage, the quiet darkness under ice. It governs your kidneys and bladder. It's the energy of rest, conservation, deep reserves. Now stay with me, because this next part is the thing that completely rearranged how I see myself. When you feel off during a certain time of year, anxious and restless in summer, heavy and weepy in autumn, completely drained and exhausted in winter, that's not a character flaw. It's not a mood disorder. It's not something wrong with your personality. It's your body responding to the dominant energy of the season. Your organ systems are shifting. They're recalibrating. and they're sending you signals. The question is, are you listening, or are you treating every sign of imbalance as something to ignore, push through, medicate away? I want to tell you what happened to me, because it happened in summer, in July, right around now. In TCM, the season of summer is ruled by the fire element, and the organ that belongs to fire is the heart. Now, here's where this gets interesting. And this is a concept I want you to hold on to. The heart in Chinese medicine is much, much more than a pump. It's considered the emperor, the ruler, the organ that all the other organs take direction from. It houses something called the Shen, S-H-E-N. The Shen is roughly what we would call the mind, the consciousness, the spirit. It's the seat of our emotional life, our joy, our ability to connect with other people, our charisma, our warmth. When the heart energy, the heart chi is balanced, you feel joyful, you feel calm, you sleep deeply through the night, you wake up rested, there's a warmth about you that other people notice, you're present, you're grounded, you have a kind of radiance. But when summer's heat becomes too much, and I'm not just talking about the temperature outside, that excess fire can agitate the heart. The emperor gets overheated. And when the emperor is uncomfortable, the whole kingdom suffers. TCM has a name for this state. Heart fire. Let me describe what heart fire feels like. See if any of this rings a bell. That irritability, the short fuse. Someone says something minor and you snap. You feel bad about it afterward, but in the moment it just comes out. Insomnia. Or that thing where you're technically asleep, but your dreams are so vivid and restless that you wake up feeling like you never slept at all. Anxiety. That fluttery, unsettled feeling in your chest. Heart palpitations, like your heart is knocking on your ribs, asking to be let out. A flushed face. Your cheeks feel hot. You look in the mirror and you're redder than usual, like you've been running. Mouth ulcers, canker sores. A tongue that looks more red than pink, maybe with a yellow coating. And mental restlessness. You can't focus on anything for more than a few minutes. Your mind is like a browser with 30 tabs open, and every tab is playing a different video. You sit down to work, and 5 minutes later, you're looking at your phone. Then you're in the kitchen. Then you're staring out the window. Then you're annoyed at yourself for not getting anything done. If you're nodding along, I want you to know I've been there, every single one of those. And the thing that really hit me, the detail that made me completely rethink everything, was learning this ancient observation. In TCM, there's a saying, the heart channel opens to the tongue. It means the state of your heart energy directly affects your speech, your words, how you talk to people. When excess fire rises up inside you, it comes out through your mouth as sharp, cutting, impatient words. Suddenly, my wife's comment made complete sense. I wasn't choosing to be difficult. I wasn't trying to be mean. My heart fire was literally flaring up through my voice. The words were just steam coming off an overheated pot. I wasn't the pot. I wasn't the fire. I was just the person standing there, holding the handle, wondering why everything was boiling over. So what do you actually do about it? How do you cool down when the fire isn't just outside, but inside? For me, the answer turned out to be surprisingly simple. It came from a flower, a small, white, yellow-centered flower. Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum flowers. Juhua, Juhua in Chinese, have been used for centuries as a gentle cooling herb. They clear heat from the upper body, from the head, from the eyes, from the heart. They're gentle. They don't knock you out. They don't sedate you. They just cool things down quietly, steadily. I started making chrysanthemum tea in the afternoons, a small handful of dried flowers in a cup, hot water. Not boiling, just hot. Let it steep for a few minutes. The taste is light, slightly sweet, vaguely floral. It's pleasant. It doesn't feel medicinal. It feels like taking a deep breath. Now, I want to stop here and give you an honest note. Chrysanthemum is slightly cold in its nature. That's how it works, by introducing a gentle, cooling energy into your system. But if you're someone who tends to have loose stools, or you feel cold easily, or your digestion is frequently upset, those can be signs that your spleen energy, your digestive fire, is already on the weaker side. In that case, use chrysanthemum carefully, not every day, or add a slice of fresh ginger to the tea. The ginger warms your core while the chrysanthemum cools your head. The two herbs balance each other out. That's one of the beautiful things about Chinese herbal thinking. It's never just one thing against one symptom. It's always about balance. About a week after I started this chrysanthemum tea habit, my wife, the same person who told me I was being a jerk, she looked at me across the dinner table, stopped for a long moment and said, "You're back." I asked her what she meant. She said, "You're not snapping. You're not irritated. You're you again." I hadn't gone to therapy. I hadn't started meditating. I hadn't changed my job or my diet or my exercise routine. All I did was give my body one small tool, a flower in hot water, to handle the season it was actually living in, not the season on the wall, but the season inside. Our mascot, Ollie the screech owl, he has this observation that I think about every summer now. He told me that before he understood about heart fire, he spent an entire July biting the very branch he was sitting on. The tree wasn't the problem, he said. My heart fire was. Owls, by the way, don't get summer grumpiness. You know why? They're nocturnal. They sleep through the hottest part of the day. They rest when the fire's at its peak. We diurnal humans, we walk straight into the midday sun and then wonder why we're falling apart. There's a lesson in that. A small one, but a real one. So that's my summer story. But the real reason I'm telling you all of this is because every single season works this way. Every one of them. And if you don't give your body what it needs for the season it's actually living in, your body will let you know, sometimes quietly, sometimes loudly. Let me quickly walk you through the other seasons, because once you have this mental map, you'll start noticing things you never noticed before. Spring is the wood season. It's the time of new growth, new beginnings. Your liver energy, that's your body's internal planner, your strategist, is most active right now. This is the season to rise early, to take brisk walks outside, to move your body after the winter stillness. Eat green things, leafy greens, sprouts, a squeeze of lemon, sour flavors gently support the liver. Your body wants to move. Let it move. Summer. See, we've covered this. Fire, the heart, stay cool, rest at midday if you can. Even a 20-minute lie down after lunch makes a real difference. Eat cucumber, watermelon, mung beans, bitter greens, your foods that genuinely beat the heat from the inside out. And maybe try chrysanthemum tea. Late summer is the earth season, the transition, those thick, humid days when you feel heavy and sluggish and nothing seems to move quickly. This is when your digestive system, your spleen and stomach, needs more support than usual. Eat cooked, warm foods, naturally sweet, yellow and orange things, squash, carrots, sweet potatoes, millet, not raw salads and ice-cold smoothies. Your digestion is already working overtime during seasonal transitions. Be kind to it. Autumn belongs to metal. The air gets dry. There's a crispness, a sharpness. This is lung season. Your respiratory system is at center stage. You need moistening, hydrating foods. Pears, radishes, onions, almonds, pungent flavors that open the chest and help you breathe more freely. Go to bed a little earlier than you did in summer. The natural world is drawing inward, so should you. And winter, the water season, the time of the kidneys. This is the season of storage, conservation, deep, Genuine rest. Go to bed early, rise late. Let the sun wake you if you can. Sleep more. That's not laziness. That's biology. Your ancestors did it. Your body is designed for it. Eat warm, nourishing, deeply grounding foods. Bone broths, root vegetables, seaweed, beans, black-colored foods like black sesame and black beans, which in Chinese medicine are traditionally associated with kidney health. Foods that feel like a hug from the inside. The simplest, most elegant rule of all: eat what's growing near you right now in this season. Your great-grandparents didn't analyze macronutrients. They ate what the earth gave them. A crisp cucumber in July, a dense sweet potato in January. Your body evolved expecting that exact rhythm. This is not a diet. It's not a protocol. It's the ancestral blueprint. Now let me warn you about something. The danger zones. The times when your body is most vulnerable. Have you ever noticed that you get sick right when the seasons change? You're fine all summer, then September arrives and suddenly you're coughing. That's not bad luck. That's not a random virus. That's your spleen, your earth element, struggling to help your body transition from one season to the next. Remember those 18-day transitional windows I mentioned? They happen at the end of every season, not just summer, spring, autumn, winter. Each one has this 18-day pivot point, and during those windows, your digestive system takes the lead. If your spleen energy is weak, if your digestion is compromised from poor diet, stress, or overwork, you're vulnerable. Your immune energy, your wei qi, doesn't have the foundation it needs to protect you. So during those seasonal shifts, and especially late summer into early autumn, which we're approaching right now, be kind to your stomach. Eat warm, simple, cooked foods. Don't overload your system with heavy meals or late-night snacking. Give your body the resources it needs to pivot. Don't add more stress on top of an already working system. I want to leave you with a contrast that I come back to again and again. The modern Western instinct is to fight the season. When it's hot, we blast the air conditioning, chug ice water, eat ice cream. We treat the weather like something to defeat. When it's cold, we seal ourselves indoors and crank the heat like we're trying to pretend winter doesn't exist. The traditional Chinese medicine approach is fundamentally different. It's not about fighting, it's not about winning, it's about adapting, harmonizing, working with the energy rather than against it. Here's the classic example that blows people's minds. Drinking warm liquids in summer. I know it sounds wrong. Your whole life, you've been told to drink cold things when you're hot. The colder the better. Ice in everything. But here's the logic. Your digestive system is like a cooking pot, a cauldron over a fire. It needs to stay at the right temperature to break down food, to extract nutrients, to transform what you eat into what your body can actually use. When you pour ice water into that pot, you put out the fire underneath it. You weaken your digestive energy, your spleen yang. Over time, that leads to bloating, poor digestion, a feeling of heaviness, fatigue that you can't explain, a kind of internal dampness that makes everything feel like you're walking through mud. A cup of warm mint tea on a hot day? That's energetically cooling without shocking your system. The mint cools. The warmth doesn't extinguish your digestive fire. It works with your body instead of against it. So here's where I want to land. Here's the one thing I hope you take from this. Living with the seasons, really living with them, is not about rigid rules or ancient prescriptions. It's about paying attention, noticing how you feel, tuning in to what your body is asking for. And sometimes it's about hearing something your body has been trying to tell you for weeks, and you've been too busy, too distracted, too overscheduled to hear it. This summer, or whatever season you're in right now, wherever you are, if you feel that internal fire rising, don't just dismiss it. Don't blame the weather. Don't blame your personality. Don't tell yourself to just deal with it. So instead of pushing through, stop. Take a breath. Acknowledge your heart. Take a moment. Sit in the shade for 10 minutes. Not scrolling your phone, just sitting. Drink something that genuinely cools you. Look for one small moment of genuine, unforced joy. Your body knows what season it's in, even if your calendar hasn't caught up. This episode was adapted from an article on the TCM Way blog. You can read the full piece with a complete seasonal guide table and more detailed questions and answers at tcmway.net/posts/35. That's article number 35. I'll put the link in the show notes. Next time on East and Inner, I'm going to talk about one ingredient in your kitchen. One thing that TCM doctors reach for more than almost anything else. It's spicy. It's knobby, like a little gnarled hand. It costs about 50 cents. And it might be sitting in your fridge right now, tucked in a corner, slowly drying out. You've probably walked past it 100 times without knowing what it can do. Until next time, friends, take care of your chi. Team, thanks for listening. This was East and Inner. If this connected with you, join us on Apple Podcasts. Just search East and Inner. The full written article is at tcmway.net. This podcast is for educational purposes only, not medical advice. Please consult your doctor before making any health changes. Full articles and references at tcmway.net. Talk to you next time.